Christ on all, and welcome to the latest episode of the Fearless in Devotion podcast with Tim Edwards, Andrew Gilpin. Andrew Gilpin, you're getting formal there. Andy Gilpin, and myself, Andrew Pollard. Yeah, it's a strange old weekend. There's been no Wrexham game, but we do have a load of stuff to talk about, and a very special guest joining us at some point today. But first, before we get into all of that chatter, of course, go and check out our excellent newsletter. Andy, is this where you throw out the magic link for those watching on YouTube?
Yes. It's so magic I've forgotten to do it. Bear with me a second.
Wow, it's like a shit pulled annuals.
Hang on. And just like magic, there it is.
Shazam.
Yeah.
There we go. Of course, if you are listening on the audio version of this means absolutely nothing to you. But please do hunt down our
Why
newsletter.
don't you describe the QR code to them and see if they can get it?
Oh, I don't know. Can we do that? Is that a thing?
No.
Anyway, the point stands. If you are watching this, scan that. Go and check out the newsletter. It's fantastic. If you're listening to the audio version, head over to YouTube and scan that code. It's fantastic. Of course, a shout out as well to our sponsors, the Fat Ball Group, the Fat Boy Wrexham and Mold, Hill Street Social, the Mice Gwyn Hall, Carnivore Effie's, the Buck in Bangor on D, and the Christ Howell in Clyde. As you can see, we are a three-pronged attack today. No Liam, no Reese. They're busy doing things more important than talking about football waffle, because they actually have social lives, unlike us three hermits that are just stuck here on a Sunday evening. Right. I guess before we also get into the football as well, just a non-football issue, but just I guess best wishes from ourselves here at Fearless and Devotion. I think I speak for all of us to everybody in Los Angeles and the area there being affected by the wildfires that are going on, including of course Rob McElhenney, who is in that neck of the woods. It's just absolutely grim, the stuff we're seeing on the news over here. So yeah, best wishes to those affected by that. Hopefully you're well, you're safe, or as well and safe as can be.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Yeah. I guess as well, other stuff. There's loads of like, and this, and then, and then. It's like the what's it called? Dude, where's my car? And then, Fearless in Devotion live. Before we get into the current Wrexham chatter, the next event, the next live event at the Mice Gwyn Hall is coming up on Friday, the 24th of January, the day after the Birmingham game. It's sold out, but there is a chance. You're telling me there's a chance that there could well be maybe a few more tickets released near the time. Rich Watkin, if you are listening to this, then get cracking on that one, son. Expect some announcements coming in the next week or so. Now we do have some great names confirmed, some great names some big names confirmed. One in particular, I think, that will raise a few eyebrows, but we're just gonna tease you with that for now. But just keep your eyes on the Fearless socials, where Tim will be dying with eager fingers to let some of these cats out of the bag. Yeah, Tim.
Yes, probably, highly likely. If you can't make it, please pay your ticket forward to somebody who can. But I would not be too hasty if you can't make it, because the big fish that we may announce soon is probably worth keeping your ticket holding for. So yeah, let's see what happens. But yeah, we're happy with the way it's panned out and excited for the next one, really. So yeah, it should be fun.
This is Tim's bedside chatter. This is him wooing you into coming if you're not coming already, and if you were planning to come,
That's a
make sure
separate
you come.
pod. That's a separate.
People are going to be so surprised when Charlie, the groundsman, appears as the last guest.
I think Charlie be great. I was thinking maybe something like Robbie Foy. I'm going obscure, like
Rockin' Robin. That'd be it for me.
My sister bought Robbie Foy's car. He had his personalised number plate on a Mini for a bit.
No, you can't just leave that there. Come on.
R23 Foy, I think it was.
For anybody who doesn't know who Robbie Foy is, Andy, do you want to tell him how great of a player he was?
He was Scottish. He was a Scottish midget, which we had on loan from Liverpool back in the days where we could actually get people on loan from Liverpool due to the Saunders connection. He was one of those players who had flashes that you thought, oh, maybe he could have a career. But as with a lot of academy sort of players, they never sort of quite make it. It's almost like they get too much too soon, and they sort of look down at playing Ebbsfleet away as a bit of a step too far for them, and they don't really perform. And then it sort of, and then you're selling cars to my sister. That's the next thing.
I should probably clarify as well, because Andy made him sound like it. Robbie Foy was not one of the crankies. Just the way he was a Scottish midget. It's like no. Isolating our Scottish viewers and our little person demographic as well there. But there were moments there for Robbie Foy. But anyway, There may be some moments for ourselves: Swansea, Newport, Cardiff. I think
Well, I
that's
like
it.
the segue.
Yeah, I know. Hey, there is some mild professionalism in there somewhere. It tries to hide away. But yeah, we could have some European nights upon us if one, we win the Welsh Cup, and two, if we actually are allowed entry into the Welsh Cup. Now, this is the topic that reared its head in the last couple of days. There's a national body for football supporters say there are broad concerns over plans to allow those teams, that the Welsh teams who play in the English Pyramid, to compete in the Welsh League Cup. Now, this, of course, is the Project Wales proposal, where it would be ourselves, Cardiff, Swansea, and Newport entering the Welsh Cup. At the way to balance it out would be we would be able to compete in the English Cup competitions, but we will not be able to qualify for Europe. Because that's how I read it anyway. Which, let's face it, we're not going to win the FA Cup or the League Cup anytime soon, I don't think. What do we think will happen on this? Andy, we'll come to you first on this. What do you think will happen, and what do you want to happen on this? Would you want us to be in the Welsh Cup?
Yeah, I think so. Definitely. I mean, it's a win-win, isn't it? We get to play teams we've not played for a while. We get to boost their coffers. We get to have some good old-fashioned Welsh Cup matches, and we get a chance of Europe. And Swansea and Cardiff aren't the Premier League forces they used to be. We've actually got a chance of getting into Europe. Now, the problems are not with the Welsh system and this. I think everyone's pretty broadly for it. The FAW down to the clubs, down to us. I think the problems will come in the EFL as it's branded now, which I don't think. I think one chief executive said we want to have our Welsh cake and eat it this week, which was mildly stereotypical, but correct, because why we'll play in the cups. We won't win them, so we'll get another chance to go into Europe. I don't really see why it would affect the likes of, I don't know, for example, Colchester. If we are in the Welsh Cup as well, maybe it's the fact that they just see it as a revenue stream for us, which they don't want to give us as we fight our way through the leagues. But saying that, if we have more games to play, surely it's more of a grind on us. Look, I don't think it's going to happen. I think the EFL will vote it down. I think it will probably be a non-starter. But stranger things have happened, and with Sean Harvey in our back pocket, who knows his way around the EFL, maybe we can do something. Maybe 91 individual calls to club chairman from a number in North New York may make a bit of a difference.
Yeah, 91 cameos in Deadpool 4. Yeah, one of those. We'll see what we can wangle. There's a person, Andy. Whoa. No, again, you can't let that slide. Who is this lady creeping up your back stairs, your back passage?
Well, you made that sound really, really rude. This Amber's just come back from seeing her auntie in Cambridge. So yeah, that's it.
Okay. Again, for those listening purely to the audio of this, that makes no sense. But just to put it out there, audio descriptive wise, Andy Gilpin said a strange woman meander past his back passage. So Tim, your thoughts on this whole Welsh Cup situation?
We're definitely not winning that award again this year. I'm just.
We peaked. We peaked. To be fair, we peaked.
We shouldn't have won that award this year.
No, we should have done, and I'm not having anybody tell me otherwise now. It was well deserved. Bollocks to say anybody else thinks otherwise. Anyway, I don't know. In my heart says I like the idea of it, but having gone into it at length with a few other people, I'm not too sure. I do miss the old Welsh Cup games, and it took a bit of a hit when we were allowed back into it in a different version of the FAW Premier Cup. It always ended up being us, Cardiff, Swansea, and like a bit of almost like a three-pronged tournament in the end. So I don't know. I do miss the Welsh Cup days. I'm not sure at what expense it will come at, though. I mean, I know you're saying, there's no chance of us winning the FA Cup, no chance of winning the League Cup and stuff. It wasn't that long ago Wigan won it. I know it's a long shot. But I think Andy's probably right. I don't see it getting off the ground. The wider aspect is it's going to improve the Welsh coefficient, whatever that truly means. I'm not truly dug down into it, to be perfectly honest. But I mean, it keeps cropping up, and I genuinely not. It seems, having off the grapevine, a lot of the Welsh clubs, like Welsh Premier League chairmen and so on, are all for it. That's what I've heard from various people saying that they're quite keen to have the clubs back involved. Does it open a door to Europe? Yes. I don't know. I'm kind of split on it, to be honest. I was very, very all for it. Now I'm not too sure. Will it be more exciting than the Virtue Trophy? Of course it will. Will it be more exciting than League Cup action, even FA Cup action? I mean, it's not. We've seen this weekend that some of the crowds down. Maybe the magic's not quite what it was, and so I'm not really sure. Long story short is I don't know how I feel about it, but I do miss those big European nights. And who are we to deprive the next generation of fans of such wonderful memories? So there is that to consider as well.
Yeah, that's important. I'm fed up with the old guard loading it up over me about the great nights of Zaragoza and Porto, which I never went to. And even though we've got it really, really good, let's get it better. I think, of course, a European night would rank higher than the FA Cup, but maybe the sort of nuts and bolts of going away to Carmarthen in the first round maybe a little bit too far for a squad that's trying to fight over a couple of fronts and seriously has ambitions of promotion, if not this season, then the next season.
See, I'm one of those where I'm not so much looking. Well, obviously, I am looking forward to him, but I'm not really dreaming of the big European away days. I'm dreaming of going to Aberystwyth Town, going to Park Avenue down there. What a place! My favorite place in the whole wide world.
So Glenn Little score one of the greatest goals I've ever seen in my life at Aberystwyth in a pre-season friendly. It was unbelievable. Ask him about it. He loves it. It is worldy.
There's a lot of stories about ABBA. Jay Harris of Lamppost is one of them, and Dean Keats and the Broken Window at Student Village is another. But we will move swiftly on to the here and the now, not talking about trips to Aberystwyth with your, and also to transfers more specifically. Now, we are obviously in January. That's big business time. This would be where, ideally, if we had somebody, on the ground who maybe had a snout in his ear, he'd be great to do some sort of catch up, some sort of roundup. If there was like a Randall roundup, it'd be ideal if we had somebody called Randall that could do a roundup, but there isn't. So we're just going to talk bollocks about transfers for the moment. Now, I mean, there's three that I've that seem to be doing the rounds. If you've heard any more, of course, feel free to add in. The three that I seem to be hearing about are Michael Smith at Sheffield Wednesday, or Jayden Danns at Liverpool, and Ethan Wheatley at Manchester United. All forwards, Michael Smith is very different to the other two. The other two are up and coming young players. I mean, Jayden Danns scored at the weekend for Liverpool against Accrington Stanley in the FA Cup. But Jayden Danns, Ethan Wheatley, two seemingly highly rated, promising young players who will be on loan. I know with Ethan Wheatley, there's talk of Stockport coming in from as well. I mean, he is a Stockport lad, whereas Michael Smith is 33, he's at the different end of the spectrum. But this was somebody that Phil Parkinson was in for in the summer. It didn't come together. A big old boy, 6'3", only 5 goals this season in the Championship, only 4 goals in the entire season before in the Championship. The year before that, though, in League One, 21 goals. And just based on what you see about him and how he's described, would seem to be a natural kind of somebody to come in and take the strain off Ollie Palmer in that role. But are these 3 names that you lads have heard about, or anybody else that's been floating around?
I hadn't heard about Wheatley, I'll be honest. Danns was mentioned before the start of the season. I thought it was a bit ambitious to get him, but I do like the idea that Liverpool may sort of think right now's a good chance to put pressure on the lad by getting him into a club who are going for promotion, who play in front of big crowds, and who can actually have an expectant fan base and who can really test him. I mean, I watched him against Stanley yesterday, just on the telly, but fair play, he moves well, doesn't he? He's got that sort of instinct, and his finish was pretty crisp. I'd really like him, and I'm being greedy. Let's go for both. If he thinks Smith is the natural replacement for Palmer, even for the next 18 months, if he's an upgrade, bringing a guy in from the Championship while Palmer came from Wimbledon, maybe we do sort of push the boat out a little bit and take a bit of a stopgap. Go back a little bit to like a couple of seasons ago where we tried to get older players in to get us over the line in certain situations, and marry that with a fast, up-and-coming, hungry, young Premier League player. Love that. I think that's the best way to go. You bring one in, you bring another in on loan. Really, sort of adds a bit of fire to the front line. And I think we're all sort of agreed that we definitely need one, but 2 would be great, wouldn't it?
I mean, it would do. And you look at Jane Dans and Ethan Wheatley, both are turning 19 this month, so very young, hungry players. As mentioned, lots of buzz around them, especially Jane Dans. I do think maybe, like you said there, Andy, you touched on, I think that might be a bit too optimistic. I think Liverpool will probably be looking at maybe a championship club for him, but I mean, who knows?
And Andrew, is he going to play in the Championship? Is he going to get starts? I
I
mean,
think
there's
he would.
a school of thought that he might not get starts for us, but he certainly will play parts in games, and we can't afford to leave someone of that quality out, really, can we?
There was the other question. I mean, Tim, you chime in on this as well. But the question as well is, if say we go with Andy's approach there and we bring in two strikers, obviously squad registration rules is what happens then? Because we've got Ollie Palmer, we've got Jack Marriott, obviously coming back from injury. We've got Paul Mullen, we've got Stephen Fletcher, who's been on fire over the festive period. It's I mean, John Daddy Budvardsson, who I'd imagine will probably will be departing soon because that was a short-term deal till January. But Tim, what do you make of the names that we've been rumoured with? And again, you have to look at when we do bring players in. Maybe if we bring in a couple of players, somebody has to drop out of that registered squad for the league.
Yeah, I mean, Joe Geldhart from Leeds is another one that's been mentioned, but apparently Hull are kind of leading that race now. But then there's a few of the bits and bobs that say that Leeds are not prepared to let him leave just yet because Bamford's injured. So there's a bit of cover there that they require. So I don't know. I mean, clearly, I reckon we're going to see several players moved out on loan. There's no doubt about it. There has to be moves out for people there, to get some serious game time. You're probably looking at Aaron James and so on and so forth. Just a few to really push on. Really, I'll be amazed if he brings in two strikers. I know that's Andy's kind of demand, but I'll be amazed if he brings two because I don't think Marriott will be that far away. I would not at all be surprised to see him suddenly on the bench. Maybe even Thursday. It's unlikely, but maybe on the bench for the Birmingham game. So he has to trust in his medical team. Go, well, is he going to be, is he going to be right back at it, or is it going to be a case of feeling himself back into games similar to what Mullins had to do? So difficult situation. I'm glad that I'm not the manager because I wouldn't even know where to begin. It's such a big squad; it needs trimming, and I dare say there's going to be a bit of an overhaul again in the summer, and we have to start looking at that now, really, to conceivably figure out where we're going to be. Is it going to be another campaign in this league? Is it going to be a campaign in the league above? Anything's possible at this stage. But yeah, he's got some big, tough decisions to make. But we keep saying the same thing. Broken record is that we do need something up top that's just not there, is it? It's not quite there for whatever reason. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But I just worry that we're going to leave it to the last minute again.
I mean, with me, I think a big one, and it's one of those where we don't know until it happens, is when Jack Marriott comes back. If he can pick up the form, I mean, it's going to take a little bit to get back, his fitness and his match fitness particularly. But I think if he can get to the form he was at the beginning of the season, that is a massive boost. And the way he worked with Palmer was just fantastic for those first month or two of the season. But in terms of, I mean, we can look at Parky's previous January work that he's done in a second, but just when we look at maybe ins and so much, maybe more even the outs, because I mean, who to you there? I mean, you mentioned Aaron James there, Tim, but any other players, Andy, to switch over to you that you think could be on the way out or maybe should be on the way out, which sounds harsh. I mean, for me, I look at the players who you see them and you think they need minutes. It's not a case of you're not good enough, but say somebody like James Jones, who's been brilliant for us, but when he's fit and healthy, he's not getting that team. You think if maybe it's for a loan for the rest of the season. Maybe Will Boyle, again, he's not had a sniff this season and also has a magnificent quaff of a hairdo these days, which is fantastic. Someone's been on a trip. More power to you. Anthony Ford, who's looked good in the chances he's had, but again, very limited game time. So who are you thinking,
Luke
Andy?
Bolton as well.
Yeah, Luke Bolton. That's another one. Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, that's him. And I rate Luke Bolton, but that's somebody I completely forgot about, because he just seems so low down the pecking order there.
Yeah.
And that's not any disrespect to the lad. It's just because he's out of sight, out of mind. So Andy, who would you be thinking that, whether it's we need to be getting rid, or maybe more for the benefit of their own career, they need to go out in January, whether that's on loan or permanently? Who are you thinking of?
Well, you just bloody named them all. So
Sorry, mate.
all the ones I was thinking, you've just cycled through them. Look, I think a lot of it depends who we bring in. If we bring in Jaden Dandy, he probably won't cost us a squad place. But if you bring in someone like of Michael Smith, he will. So we'll have to look at it at the end of the. I like Tim. I don't want everything done in the last sort of week. I think if you're going to do this squad properly and you're going to give the likes of James Jones a chance to move on, you have to have the business done with a couple of days to go. And then that allows them to go somewhere else. The problem here is James Jones is probably on a good contract. And so if he dropped down to League Two or even a club fighting for the title in the conference, will they pay him as well? I don't really know. And maybe he might want to just stay for the last few months. And
would he even go back to Crewe, doing well in the playoff
maybe.
mix? Not a million miles away as well. So
maybe. I mean, they're the sort of players you wish well, and you sort of know that every now and again you have to make the tough decisions and wave goodbye to people who have been nothing but great servants to you and have really sort of bought into to what we're doing here. Now we've got a guest. I want to see if we can bring him in now.
Oh, he's here now, is he? Okay,
he's here now.
Lovely.
He's on mute at the moment, so
he's hiding. Get that camera on, Michael.
Mr. Thomas, could you have a look at the bottom left and just see if you can unmute yourself? It should be like a little button which says mute, and maybe.
Is that it? No.
Oh, there we go.
He is. There
we
he
got
is.
a voice. We got a voice.
We can hear him.
I've done it before. Only with you though. Yeah.
You say that to all the podcasts, Mickey.
Yeah. Only you. You're the main one, aren't you? So that's why I'm coming on.
We wouldn't like to.
You are number one in the world now. Globally.
Look at this. Mick charming us. Are you joining us on video as well, Mick, or are you just doing the phone?
If there's a start video on the bottom left, so I don't know if you can just press that and just see if the camera.
We need to see that beautiful face.
Oh, I see down there.
So it says start video at the bottom left. Yeah.
Bottom left.
The most
where he just unmuted himself. It's the one next to you.
I'm trying.
There we are.
There he is.
Look who it is.
Lights, camera, action.
I can't believe that. I can't believe that. Yeah, I've done it. I never did that. I'm open Saturday. That's why I phoned Andy before. I said, help. I need help. So.
Yeah, he's calling live some random woman's house in who knows where. Yeah. I should probably do that.
Yeah. It's just interesting what you were talking about there about players coming in and players, going out. I don't think Phil Parkinson's too bothered about anyone going out. It's what he wants to bring in. That's the most important thing, I think, in this transfer window. They can afford to keep these players on board. There's no question about that. So it's not a problem keeping them. It's just maybe getting one or two more just to adjust one or two things that might need, as the season goes on in the crucial stage of the season.
Mickey,
I like this.
Yeah, Mickey always brings a good sort of perspective on it. He's always a very positive perspective on Wrexham and how far we can go. Mickey, you've seen a bit of us. What are your sort of thoughts on the season so far? I mean, did you expect us to be this high up? And I mean, I'd love to ask, but do you actually think we can replicate what you guys did back in the 70s?
Yeah, without doubt. I'm confident that this will be the year we'll go up. There's no question. I think our home form is exceptional. We're winning games, obviously maybe late in the day, but we're still getting maximum points. And that's a good, I think, ability to do that. I just think away from home, obviously that does need to be adjusted a little bit. We're not so good away from home, but our home form will get enough points on board to get us that promotion that we want. Obviously, some big games coming up. Obviously, the Shrewsbury game you're going to talk about, but the big game, Birmingham and that. But that's not my issue with Birmingham. They're not the ones I'm looking at. It's like the Crawley and Stevenage. That's where you've got to win those important games because they're tough games. Then.
Yeah, I just want to ask you about Mullin because obviously he's been brilliant for us since he signed. He's not having a great season. For you looking in as an ex-pro, do you think that's a fitness issue? Do you think that's a confidence issue? Do you think it's a combination of both? Do you think he's found his level?
I look at his game, obviously. I just, if he's not scoring goals, obviously, the fan thinks he's not playing well, but in terms of what he does off the ball, I think he does an exceptional job in terms of work ethic. He's a good player defensively that most people don't look at. When we haven't got the ball, he works his socks off along that line. It's not easy up there, as I said. It's a tough job for him to do. Has he reached his level? I don't think he has yet. I still think he's got that ability to find the back net. He's proved over the last 2 or 3 seasons, and even at Cambridge, top goal scorer, that he knows where the back of the net is. I don't think that is a problem. I think maybe more supply to him. I don't think he's getting many opportunities. As I said, he's playing a little bit more deeper. He's coming a lot more deeper for the ball, and I think sometimes that takes him away from what is important in that 18-yard box.
Yeah, it'd be great for him to sort of get a goal and get back on the trail in a local derby. Right, Shrewsbury and Wrexham. You've obviously played for Shrewsbury because I don't think there's a club you haven't played for, really. Is that
like that? Yeah.
What was it like? What was it like playing for them? And here's a question for you. I would say that I would rate Shrewsbury as my 4th most hated club. Who hates each other more?
Yeah, as a player, you never really, think like that, to be brutally honest. Obviously, the only derby that I've ever been really concerned about is Chester. Obviously, those days are gone now. That's never going to happen again. They're going the wrong direction. But, as a player, the important. But I've never seen Shrewsbury as a derby game. I've never really seen that as a derby game. Obviously, now with social media, you get reaction from fans and that they hate each other. So you get more. Realize how much it is a big game. So yeah, in that respect, I had a good time there. When I first joined them in my friendlies, I got booed because I played for Wrexham. They didn't like me, but obviously after the first game at home to Portsmouth, they changed their opinion. They wanted me to be manager of Shrewsbury, of course. At the end of the season, they were singing my name to be manager. Little did they know I couldn't manage myself, but that was another story. So yeah, in that respect, I mean, it's something, that as a player, not as much as the fans, that hatred isn't as much. You just want to win a football game, brutally honest.
Yeah.
You only missed 1 game that entire season, is that right?
Yeah, I won all the Play of the Awards and that. The fans Play of the Awards, the players Play of the Awards. I won everything. Then they would have obviously wanted me to stay in that. They offered me the job after the last game against Leeds United because that league was Man City, Crystal Palace. They had Leicester City. It was a tough league, so they were going to get relegated. So they wanted someone to come in instead of the manager. But the manager, I would never take his place because it was a guy called Ian McNeil, a former Chelsea guy, that brought me down back into the Football League from America. So there was no way I was going to take his job. And I got offered to play for Leeds United. So I took that opportunity instead.
Yeah. I have to ask Mick, Michael Reginald Thomas, of course.
I don't know why you keep mentioning my middle name. I think you get a little bit. I'm not sure you're getting excited by that, Andy. I don't know why you do that. Every time, I'm not sure why you do that.
Mick, I'm always excited.
It's my father's name. I'm very proud of it.
So, yeah, I'm always excited to be
so
to
yeah, don't try and belittle me by saying my middle name.
Oh, absolutely not. No, it's a sign of respect.
Because I'm not very big as it is.
Oh, yeah, it's a sign of respect. Obviously, 51 caps for Wales, nearly 350 games for Wrexham. The 2 promotions, 78-93, one of Wrexham's all-time greatest players, right up there. I mean, it'd be strange not to have you on and ask, just firstly ask how your good pal is as well, Joey. First and foremost, Mr. Wrexham.
Just say that last bit again. Sorry,
yeah, just asking like your connection with Joey and how Joey's doing these days.
Well, Joey, I'm not going to say too much, but he's fighting a big battle. He's he's my best mate. Obviously, we started together. We got back a long way, so it's tough for him at the moment. How can I say? Yeah, it's tough, but he's doing well. He's doing well. I'll go and see him next couple of days and that. So, he loves the old times, guys. You understand. I can connect with him from years ago because he's very good at that. His knowledge from 30 years ago is exceptional. Obviously, at the present, that's not too good. But as I said, he's a fighter. We all know what Joey Jones is like. He's one of the greatest. I know it sounds because it's coming from me, but make no mistake about this. Joey Jones is Wrexham Football Club. Joey Jones has done so much throughout his career. He went back, obviously he went to Liverpool, but his first club he wanted to come back to was Wrexham. Could have gone anywhere else, but he came back to Wrexham. But his work after that, when he retired, for the people that don't really know, he's done a lot for this football club. And as I said, they're looking after him now. They've been fantastic with me and him. They look after us when we go to the games, and that's nice to see. And as I said, and hopefully, as time goes by, there might be an improvement for Joey.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, he's somebody that after he'd retired, he came back to Wrexham as obviously was there as a player, but then went into the coaching side of things, was responsible, played a big part in the career of so many young players that came through. Whether it's a Lee Jones, a Steve Watkin, a Neil Roberts, a lot of the local lads, or even nurturing people like a Carl Connolly who came in from Liverpool, from the Scouts League. You never fancy that yourself at all? I know you talked about Shrewsbury offered you the manager job. Did you never fancy getting involved with the coaching, or not really for you?
No, because if you know my reputation, Andrew, as you should know. I mean, I'm a bit of a lad, aren't I? I'm Jack the lad, I'm happy-go-lucky. I'm not really a serious guy. I do whatever comes to my head, and sometimes that's the wrong decision, of course. But no, I mean, I'm not that type. I love football. I mean, that's the only thing I could do. I couldn't read or write in school. I couldn't do anything. I had a fear of meeting people. I couldn't go into a room and that on my own. So, growing up as a kid, it was very, very difficult. But to do that after football, I enjoy the commentary. I enjoy watching it and that. I think Joey's got the ability. I didn't have the ability what Joey's got.
Yeah. Well, when you look ahead to obviously Shrewsbury, as mentioned, you played for him, but there was the game back in November 1973, I believe you played in, which was the FA Cup replay at Gay Meadow, which was a Tuesday 1:45 kickoff. Because Edward Heath there was a ban on floodlights to reduce electricity to kind of conserve the coal supplies. Have you got any memories of that stand out?
No, I have to be brutally honest. No, my memory going back is not as good as Joey's. No, I find that difficult to actually. I play so many games, about 800 games, but I don't know. But I don't really recall. I know I scored against Shrewsbury playing for Wrexham at the Racecourse Ground. We had quite a lot of games against Shrewsbury at that particular time as well. I think obviously what their history is and that with the guy in the canoe getting the ball, that's the only thing. I fed him a few balls to keep him busy, and it was getting cold. I mean, but those type of games, some obviously remember games, Andrew, some great games, what I mean, but in that one, I really can't really recognition anything about that.
You didn't celebrate that goal, did you, Mickey?
I did celebrate that goal. It was a left foot. Yeah, it was a great shot of mine into the tech end. I bit it. It's come across the 18-yard box, and I struck it first time, right like a rocket, right along the round, right in off the post. It was
Do you remember all your goals, Mickey, or is it just because that was a good one?
I do remember 1 or 2. My best ever goal. I mean, I tell you all. I've said this before, and I think I've told Andrew on numerous occasions that my favourite ever goal was Tottenham away. We won 3-2. They had the Glenn Hoddles, they had the great players. They won the game before they played 7 or 8-1 or whatever it was. So we went there, lambs to the slaughter, but we won the game, and it was my best ever goal, half volley from the 18-yard box right into the top left-hand corner. I couldn't have hit it any better. Because I remember Pat Jennings, one of the great goalkeepers of all time, waiting in the tunnel for me, saying, I didn't know who you were before the game. He said, but that goal you scored against me, he said, I couldn't get anywhere near it. That was a magical goal. So I took that on board, what he said. So I was happy with that.
What about the goal against England, the 4-1, where the commentators made it basically sound like a tap-in, but it was a very tricky finish?
Yeah, I said that. I always said that, but obviously he said it's a goal and that. But when you look at the replay, it was a hard pitch that day, and the balls bounced up, and I had to swivel in midair and volley it in. And they go equalised by making some. I thought, well, it's a bit better than that, but he didn't obviously understand that. But yeah, I've scored some great goals, as I said, in my career, but some of the importance of, obviously, we always talk about the Arsenal and games like that. I mean, I'll never get tired of that, but there was, me and Steve Watkin get all the credit, but there's 9 other players in that team that day that, contributed to something that was, probably the biggest still today in FA Cup football.
Yeah, and I believe, Mick, you mentioned it a few times before that Wayne Phillips was trying to take that free kick, yeah?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I never known Wayne to score a free kick, to be honest. No, it's one of those things. Wayne, Wayne was doing my running that day. I was getting on in years. Wayne had a great engine.
Yeah.
But as I said, I just decided from a free kick I took on the Thursday to replicate it again on the Saturday, and it went into the top corner. And it's one of those things that's going to happen. And as I said, the result was everything. For 14,500 in that stadium, it's still not forgotten, is it? And I won't let anyone forget. I tell everyone I watch it 300 times a day, don't I?
To be fair, the thing I like the most about you with this, Mickey, is that obviously the goal that gets shown over time on the highlights when it's FA Cup weekend as we're recording this, the goal that gets shown over time is your free kick 'cause it's a stunning goal. But you go out of your way to make a point of Stevie Watkin.
I do get, you guys know, Steve Watkin, it's one of the most humble guys you can ever meet. He's one of the nicest guys. He doesn't want any publicity in that. He thinks I've scored the winning goal by now. Honestly, he really does. He said to me, "Good, I think you scored the winning goal," but he doesn't get the credit either. Not even the other 9 players that was in the team, because it was a combination of everything that day that came together. My goal was obviously a special goal, and I was lucky enough to score that. But it does take a lot away from a lot of things that don't get mentioned about how we won that game, not by the goals, but by the team, together.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Wayne doing a lot of your running. Wayne, Gaz Owen, Vince O'Keefe had the game of his life in goal. Carl Connolly had Lee Dixon on toast for part of it. It was a proper team effort.
Well, I just let me say this to you, and I'm going to ask you all individually. Right, Paul Mullin scores all the goals. Paul Mullin gets all the headlines. I never got any headlines, because I was a goal creator. But when I scored the goal against Arsenal, you get all the limelight in that. But I think Paul Mullin, like myself, understand without the help of his teammates, you're not going to get those goals, So, it's a little bit hard sometimes when, Paul's getting all the headlines. And I think, he knows that without his teammates, he couldn't achieve that. So what do you think about that? The goal scorers, getting all the headlines. Andy, what do you reckon?
I wonder if that, he scored the goals that took us up, and I will always like I've got your free kick, I will always have that strike against Boreham Wood, and that will be the thing that really, whatever happens in my life, I will always remember that goal and where I was and how it made me feel at the time and after it, and I can always thank Paul for that. But really and truly, you're right, he wouldn't have. He doesn't get the goals unless there's a team around him. So for example, this season, Ryan Barnett's been in great form.
Unbelievable.
He reminds me of a young Mickey Thomas in many ways.
Unbelievable.
He drifts around people, and really,
his crosses are incredible. His delivery is so consistent. That's what I like about him. He's he's not the biggest in terms of physical attributes, but when he gets that ball, he knows what he wants to do, and I think that is a quality that is very, very rare these days.
Yeah, and so without that, Paul doesn't get his goals, and I wonder if maybe this season, because we've had to be quite attritional sometimes, because we've stepped up again in class. And so we were not going to have it our own way at the likes of Birmingham away, even Barnsley away. So that's maybe why it's not the free-flowing, goal-scoring Paul Mullin of the past few seasons, because we have to play a different game as a team. And I think one good thing about what he's done, he's brought a team together. So even if Paul's not firing, there'll be other people there who can help grind out a win. And over the last couple of weeks, it's been Stephen Fletcher.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right, guys. I think you're right. The level is obviously different, a lot more harder. But you're quite right. And away from home, as I say, we don't really play the same sort of style as we do from a home game. So that's interesting.
Yeah, I probably concur a little bit with Andy, but I think Mullin's probably been deserving of the headlines in the past because he's been one of those strikers where, as well as getting the service, he's one of the few strikers you can think of where he can create something out of nothing. We saw that with the volley in the fog the other week.
Oh yeah, amazing.
Similar to Gary Bennett. You're like, if it's not on for him, he'll create something. He'll run at your defender. He'll try a chip from 35 yards. Lee Trundle. We could go on about these players who were very well deserving of the headlines because of the talent they brought to this team. And with Mullin, it was a perfect storm for him. He's kind of the focal point for what was going on. That team was built around him, really. You know, he was like one of the sort of key kind of like signings early doors, and whilst he's been having a bit of a tough time, you know, like you said before, and I think we said on the pod the other week, we still back him to get double figures this season. You just don't. That predatory instinct doesn't desert you. It's just, you know, his radar's a little bit off, as it has been, but it doesn't desert you. Remember, Matt Derbyshire is another example, just a goal poacher, fox in the box, you know. When it comes to me, take his chances, and that'll happen again with Mullin, I'm sure of it. But he's just had to come out of the limelight a little bit and let other people like Barnett and Palmer and so on have their kind of moment in the sun a little bit more. I think maybe that's taken a little bit of an adjustment, but it's good to have, isn't it? It's good to have other people in that side who can step up to the plate, and you know, Fletcher coming to the bench and knocking in goals for fun. So it's still a good thing to do, but I'd like goalkeepers to have more headlines as well, because I'm on that. I'm so glad he was on mute there. He was just shouting something.
But Fletcher as well has been a good addition, you know, and I think Andy just said there about the quality, you know, you just mentioned yourself there. That's what they bring to the table, don't they? They're such good players, aren't they? Certainly Fletcher's a natural goal scorer. Obviously 37, can't play every game, but someone like him, you know, is a good addition. From, you know, Phil Parkinson's done an amazing job. So people like him, you know, play a major part as well.
Mickey, sorry, Tim, I'll give it back in a second. Mickey, can I just ask, where would you strengthen the team now? Where do you think, you know, there's money there. As you said when you came on, it doesn't matter about people not getting a game for Phil Parkinson because he's got the money to do it. Where should we look now? How many would you want, and where would you look to get them from?
I'm going to say another striker, even though we got obviously Fletcher coming on, playing a bit part, but a major part. I think another striker for sure, another central defender as well, maybe that, you know. I think the goalkeeper situation, obviously we got 3 or 4, but for me, defensively, another one and another striker, because let's be greedy. Let's go out and get what we can. You know, you get this one opportunity, maybe let's take it. You know, never mind what everyone else is talking about. It's, you know, they're jealous, aren't they? If we can go out and afford it, like the Man Cities have done over the years, go and do it. You know, if it enhances your chances of getting promotion again, this is the next big step. This is a massive step into the Championship. This is huge. Let's not miss out.
Yeah, this is where I have I'm stuck in the I guess you call it the classic Wrexham mentality, where it's like, obviously we can afford to have players that don't play every week and are just there in the squad earning the money. Whereas I don't know, I'm still stuck in the that's money. Well, we've got players here but obviously we can afford it. But I don't know. I don't want to get carried away with it all. I think it's just, I don't know, that kind of worry that the bubble will burst, and then we've got all these players on these big wages, these big contracts. But as Mickey kind of talked on there, it is at a point where, I mean, if we were ever going to push on, this is the time to push on. This is the season to push on. The position we're in now, at this point in the season, 3rd in the league. I don't know. It makes me feel kind of like awkward. It makes my skin crawl a bit. Like, just because I'm so used to just playing Hayes and Yedden away and being
to answer
shit.
that as well, I think Phil Parkinson, guys, you know, all of his, you know what he's done, incredible job. So,
yeah.
You know, why not give him the ammunition? Why not give him everything that he needs? Because this is, you know, a next step level. You know, and let's be fair, there'll be massive changes if we do get that promotion. Without doubt, there'll be a huge turnaround of players going in and out for sure.
Mickey, I've got to get your opinion on one player that many people have said. Doesn't he remind me a little bit of Mickey Thomas? Ollie Rathbone. What do you make of him? Because there is.
I don't know what his off the field activities are like, but if he's on the pitch, man, he's done well. He's done absolutely fantastic. There's no question. See, what one thing that fans can, you know, associate with players is work ethic.
Yeah.
His work rate is unbelievable, and you know he does all the donkey work, the dirty work, whatever you want, and that, you know, sometimes the fans don't see that, but his contribution, I've watched it last few games, has been enormous. You know, his energy level is fantastic. You know, he does all the hard work and that. Someone said Barry Horn. He looks like Barry Horn, but but one thing is he's got my engine for sure because he puts himself about, and I do like that. I like that in any player. That's the first and foremost thing you should do. But he does it every game.
It's kind of, he's got like a signature move really, where he'll hone in on the ball from, I don't know, 15, 20 feet away, turns on the turbo boosters, and he has to time that tackle right, because if he doesn't, he's probably looking at a yellow because of the momentum that he's running at. And he's done it maybe 3 or 4 times now. That's become kind of his thing. When I think he robbed one of the defenders, didn't he, was it against Blackpool for Fletcher's goal, I think. Just unbelievably good. And I mean, probably he's up there for my player of the season. Has to be up there. I mentioned Arthur the other week, but I think Ollie's up there. Who's your player of the season front runner at this point, Mickey?
I think the manager is my player of the season because
No,
I think Phil Parkinson, I think, you're all clever people. I think what he's had to contend with in terms of profile with the cameras and everything, and, to get them players, on a level that they should be and not get too big-headed, because with all the limelight and all the publicity, that can really affect you as a player. So in that respect, I think his work behind the scenes is so important, and I think he's done that to perfection, to be brutally honest. That's what I think he's done. I think he's kept them at a level that they've got to be, because you can get too big for your boots. You can get, oh yeah, I'm this, I'm on TV, I'm on video, and that can have an effect on the players, no question about that. But when I say player of the season for the manager, because you have to control these players. There's a group of players in his dressing room. They've all they're all different. Some are strong person, some are weak, so he's got to really control that. And I think that's a major part why Wrexham are still going in the right direction.
Do you feel he gets the credit he deserves from other fan bases, other clubs? Because
our fans sometimes don't give him.
I see, Andy. I see that. I find that quite extraordinary. Some of after one game, got to get rid of him, etc. And that's a typical fan for you. I mean, they have an opinion and they're the right to have an opinion, but I don't see that at all. I really don't see that at all.
Yeah, I'll always bang on about this. There was the season we got promoted from the National League where we only dropped 2 points at home. We drew one game at home against Woking on a Tuesday night. It was 2-2, and we were, to be fair, we were lucky to get a 2-2 draw. I thought Woking were the better team, and that was we won every single game at home in the league that season. And coming out of and Woking at that point were third, and we were second. But there was a gap, but they're a decent team. They came there, they played well. And coming out the ground, and there was just one, and it will stay with me for as long as I'm around. And just one fella saying that was absolutely disgraceful, absolutely disgusting. And I'm like, where's the? And this is towards the tail end of the season where we're doing well, we're right up there, and obviously we go on to get promoted and win the league. And it was just I don't know, just this fella just seemed like, I don't know, it just totally pickled me. It totally baffled me that this bloke was. And he was ranting as he was going out the ground at the Mulder Road stand about basically how shit we were, and we were awful, and everybody needs their heads banging together. And that was the one home game all season in the league where we dropped any points.
Can I ask you a question now? This is quite interesting. When I mentioned Sir Phil Parkinson, now the way he's going, is that he is certainly on the radar of football clubs. He is certainly on the radar because what he's done from the non-league to where we are now, and probably back into the championship for the first time in a long time. He's on the radar of other clubs. I'm sure about that because his job has been brilliant.
Has to be.
Do you see that? Do you see that, Andy? Do you see that, guys?
I was going to say that because we see like managers losing their job, and we don't automatically think that Parkinson's going to be in the equation, or just because he's not in the betting list, that his name's not there, that he shouldn't be considered. He's done. Show me any manager who's done the job that he's done in what he's had to do over a short space of time. It's been sustained success. You want a manager? There's not many out there who've got sustained successes. Just isn't.
There's also not many managers for the level that he's been playing at who's had the budget that he's had. I'm just going to caveat that with that. He's done amazing to navigate that budget because it could easily have gone wrong with so many other managers. But like, I don't say for you, Mickey, obviously you played under John Neal where there was no budget really. You played under Brian Flynn where there was no budget whatsoever and we were relying on kids. Dennis Smith, for example, had nothing to work with, and we had so many financial problems against us, some of the issues when we're into administration. But where would you rank Phil Parkinson compared to, say, a John Neal, compared to a Flinney?
Well, what he's done, I mean, I think I told Andy before about when I'm non-league, I was overcritical maybe towards the team and the players because I think they should have been doing better. But that level, I've never played in that level. It must have been tough to motivate yourself, to get yourself focused and try and, go into like the water, what do they call it, them teams, the Whittlestoners and teams like that. I never heard of them before. So to get yourself up for things like that must have been difficult for the players and that. But what he's done, he's winning football games, and that is the manager's, thing. If you're winning football games, you're going to get noticed, aren't you? So I just think that he obviously he knows what he wants to do for the future. I'm sure about that, but you can't get away from the fact that his job is so good that people aren't noticing him. There is that people out there thinking maybe if we're not doing well, let's try Mr. Parkinson.
I think it'd take a lot for him to go at this point in time. I think we're talking like, say a lower league Premier League team came in. I think maybe then it might raise his eyebrows. But I think if a Championship club came in,
I'm not saying he's going to go, but I'm just saying that there will be people very much interested in him, because his job he's done is great. You agree?
Like Bolton, Ian Evatt's under massive pressure, and if he was to go, his name would be in the mix because he's been there before. But you would imagine he wouldn't leave for that because it's a bit of a basket case at the moment.
Yeah, I believe the Bolton fans there, because there's like a split with the previous clubs. I think Bolton and Bradford, obviously Bradford obviously do. I think Bolton and Bradford absolutely love him. Sunderland, because I've worked with a few Mackhams, and they're not so kind on Parky because it didn't work out quite well there. But yeah, Bolton and Bradford absolutely love him.
Colchester as well.
Right,
I forgot about that.
Right. Now we've done the love. Let's just, because we've got Shrewsbury coming up, let's quickly rate our hate. And I want to just do the top 3 clubs
New segment.
Rate our
hate.
Dude.
So I'm going to go first, right? And these are the 3 clubs and where Shrewsbury sort of fit in with this. I'm going to go Chester first. They're traditional. I despise them. You work with them and stuff like that, but there's nothing you can do about that. They're close to you. They're everything that Wrexham isn't, like posh and sort of nice and
full of Liverpool fans, which actually Wrexham is.
Yeah,
to be fair,
absolutely fuck them. Chester first. After that, I just don't like Tranmere. Never really have, and I think they've got a massive massive sort of chip on their shoulder about us. And then Shrewsbury for me. Shrewsbury sort of fit in there. I mean, I sort of drive past it a lot on the way home, but I can't really sort of think of a sustained period in my lifetime watching Wrexham where we were playing each other that often. So it's hard to sort of drum that up if you haven't played them properly for about 15, 16 years. Saying that, I would love to stuff them on Thursday. We'll come to Mickey last, but Tim, where's your sort of hate rating?
You know what? When you mentioned rate my hate earlier, I was like,
come on, Tim.
Yeah, well, Chester has to be top, 100%, always will be, just because, not a vast amount separates us mile-wise, but everything else does. Just chalk and cheese, class war, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, don't like them, never will, and just I hope they stuff it up in the playoffs again. It'd be great. And then the second, you know what? I think Tranmere is not going to be in this list controversially. So I'll put Shrewsbury second, because we hadn't played them for 14, 15 years up until the FA Cup game. And obviously we've hammered them earlier this season at home in the league. And it kind of it really reconciled this, or rekindled this burning hatred for them. I was like, I didn't realize how much I despise them. Despite being older and wiser, still don't like them. Don't like the fact that they've got no real ambition, built a crappy little stage in the middle of nowhere. Some of their people who played for them are quite odious. I'll put them second. Thirdly, I'm going to stick Cardiff into the mix from a traditional point of view, because I used to love playing them, and there was always an edge to the matches. There was always an edge to it. And all this woke idea now that you can't use the word derby because there's nothing derby about Wrexham and Cardiff, and why can you call it South Wales derby? It's always been called a North South Wales derby. It's always been a Welsh derby. So I like the idea of that. And maybe my judgment's been clouded because this week there's been a lot of Bluebirds fans chirping up getting quite agitated now about the idea that we could potentially replace them in the Championship, or indeed play them in League One next season, or the Championship. I don't know, but they're in a bit of dire straits, and yeah, they've got this Billy Big Bollocks idea about them, and it would be lovely, lovely to be #1 team in Wales again at some point in the very near future.
I'll chime in now. I mean, Tim throwing that woke. We're going to get into like a political podcast here, Tim. Steady on with that.
It wound me up when people say, "Well, you can't call it a derby." Well, why? Who's gatekeeping who here? You know, why is it not a cross-border derby? That'll be this week. It's a cross-border derby. Oh yeah, we'll have that because it's close by. Close by has got nothing to do with it. Anyway, I digress.
I digress. Let's move on with the wokeness. Let's get down with the wokeness. It's not like a, yeah. Anyway, for me, I will go with. I think that the Shrewsbury one. I mean, to be fair to Shrewsbury, when we say we didn't play each other for the longest period of time, or we didn't play each other with that much frequency, there were times when Shrewsbury we didn't play them because they were in the league above us, back when they were in League One and we were down in League Two, as it were. But I go with Shrewsbury as my number 3. I'm going to go backwards. Some of my favourite Wrexham memories have been Shrewsbury away games, which were the Lee Jones promotion goal in 2003, and then also the Michael Proctor goal to keep us up for 2 very different ends of the spectrum there, the ends of the scale. My number 2 will be Chester. Yeah, this is where I'm a little bit different. My number 2 is Chester because it goes without saying. The King Carl Derby is the big height there. My number 1 most hated team in football. I don't hate much things because I'm a very placid, chilled out kind of guy. But my number 1 most hated team in football is Torquay United.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Because,
No,
yeah.
Why do you hate Torquay? Have you got something against donkeys?
No, it's because I was when I was in university, and I was in Aberystwyth University, and played football, Sunday league football, university football with a lovely lad from Torquay. He's brilliant, dead nice, bit of a shit footballer, but he's a nice lad. Next year, his younger brother joined and came to the uni, who was a really lovely lad, a really good footballer. And all he did though, and you think like as lower league fans, you've got like that kindred spirits of like everybody's supporting Man United, Chelsea, Liverpool, whatever. We're supporting Wrexham and Torquay. There's like a kindred spirit there, a brotherhood. Now, all he did was just bang on about Torquay, Wrexham shit, Wrexham shit, Wrexham shit, Torquay. And to the point where it's just like, I cannot stand Torquay. Then a few of us made the trip down to Torquay to watch us play Torquay away. And we got beat 1-0. Martin Phillips scored in about the 88th, 89th minute, and it was just like, and then he went on even more. So Torquay are just my most hated team in football. It was a good night out though. Torquay's a lovely place, but yeah,
Wow.
but the football team can get bollocksed.
Well, we never saw that coming.
Yeah,
No, I didn't either.
I didn't see that coming either. No.
Go on, Mick.
We used
what
to
the
we used
team
to
that we
hate it
played-
liberally, you know, but yeah.
Yeah, obviously as a player, you know, it's got to be number 1. It's got to be Chester for me for sure because you know I knew the rivalry was that bad because I played in so many derbies against them and that, and the atmosphere and everything, the build up to it, you know, it's always the biggest game and that. So I'd probably go with Chester. Second team would be Chester Reserves. I don't like them. And the third team with anyone that played over the years for Chester. So I'll go like that. No, I think obviously Chester for me, but I don't really hate. I'm a football person. I've always been that type of person. I love football and that. But to name it, 2 others. You mentioned Tranmere, that was like a derby as well when it sort of thing first, and that scored the winning goal at Racecourse Ground against them once. So yeah, probably say Tranmere and that, but first, without doubt, it's going to be Chester.
There you go. 100%.
Good lad,
Yeah.
Mickey. Again, this is why Mickey Thomas is one of the Wrexham legends.
Yeah.
Good.
Mickey,
And
did you have any, can you recall any kind of experiences you had? Did you have any sort of set twos with any Chester fans or any Chester players that you can think, Jesus
You ever
Christ?
go out in Chester?
With about 4 or 5 bodyguards, yeah. No. I mean, no. I've been out in Chester. I will get 1 or 2 abuses now and again, but very rarely because not many Chester fans about, are there, to be honest? Obviously with a fan that they hate you, don't they? I played in a charity game there. I was actually playing for Man United at the time, but Wrexham played him in a charity. It was a lot of fun down there. The trouble in that game when it started was horrific. I've never seen so much violence in my life, and that's how much, you know, even in the friendly they were having a fight together. It was really bad.
Wow. Jesus. Well, there you go.
Yeah, there's a long way. I mean, obviously, Chester, it would probably be good to get Chester back in the Football League and that, and play against it, but that's not going to happen, is it? I don't think that's going to happen now. They're too far down now. They don't seem to have anything going for them at the moment. I know there's a lot of Chester fans that are very jealous of Wrexham. I wonder why.
I've just, I didn't want to bring it up before, Mickey, but I've just now, while you were talking then, checked the Man United score, and they actually won today on pens.
Well, I
Yeah.
didn't know because I came on here, didn't I? I know it's 1-0, but they deserve to win that, to be honest, after what I've
I
seen.
wasn't going to bloody tell him unless he might have paused it and he was going to watch it after here.
I thought
Thank you, Andrew. Yeah, no, I actually have recorded it. Yeah, but yeah, that's a great win for them because I think he's last two games, Liverpool and Arsenal, both top teams getting good results against him. So it's looking very, very good for Amarin now.
Yeah, Mick, to go back to Shrewsbury and the game coming up on Thursday, what are your thoughts now it's going to go, and what's the score prediction you've got for us?
Well, I think they're in a relegation fight, aren't they? And a very difficult relegation. In fact, they've got a new manager now, Gareth Ainsworth. Can he get them out of that position? He's got a good reputation there, but I can't see them surviving. I've watched him a couple of times actually on TV. They haven't got really much to offer. I think whether they get 3 or 4 players in the transfer window, that might enhance the chances of survival. But at this moment in time, they're going to get relegated and they're going to get beat by us on Thursday.
What's the score going to be, Mick?
5-0, something like that.
He loves a 5-0. Always loves a 5-0.
I always
this
go
fella.
for 5. That's half time, by the way. That's only half time.
I mean, they're 22nd in the league, 3rd from bottom, so they are in the relegation places.
Yeah, I mean, no, I'm not bothered about Shrewsbury. I'm not bothered about anyone. All I'm bothered about is Wrexham get where they want to get, and as I think it's another game in it. I know, obviously, it's important to get something out of that game. We've got Birmingham coming up, of course, and Stephen is at home. So, the Birmingham, I don't worry about because we don't have to have any build-up. No team talk is necessary. It's a big game, so the players will be up for it and the fans.
Mickey, do you think this will be the last time Wrexham and Shrewsbury will meet for a considerable period of time, considering the trajectories in which they're heading?
A very good question, that. Probably.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah. Probably. Yeah. I mean, football's a funny game, isn't it? You know what I mean? Football's, we've seen a miracle happen at Wrexham, and I think it is a miracle. I know you've suffered in the past now, but what's happened at Wrexham and the way it's continuing is scary. Not for Wrexham fans, but for anyone else that's trying to compete against them, it's going to be very, very difficult because this isn't going to get any smaller. It's going to get bigger, without doubt.
Happy days.
I mean, while we've got you on, Mick, because we'll come to Tim and Andy and myself in a second for our Shrewsbury predictions. But while we've got you on, what do you think about the Birmingham game the week after? How are you thinking that'll go?
I don't fear Birmingham. I think because they'll come and try and win the game. I think it'll be a very open game. I don't think they're going to come defensively and just go for a point. I think they got enough points on board at the moment. They can come out and play an expansive game. So I think it'll be a good game. I think we can win that game. I really do, because we're at home. The atmosphere will be electric. It'll be more intimidating for them. Not like it was at St Andrews, of course, they're at home. So we're at home. So I think the fans are going to play a major part in this game. Get right behind the team.
Absolutely.
You heard the man.
Yeah. Tim, what's your predictions for Shrewsbury?
I think I'm not quite as brave to go for 5-0, but I think it might mirror the home game. 3-0. But the key question, my last question really to Mickey that I completely forgot to mention. Who has the best hair? Prime Mickey Thomas or current day Gareth Ainsworth?
Gareth Ainsworth.
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely not.
I do like him. I met him a few times. I mean, he is a nice guy, obviously, but I just think he's got a team here. He's got a position where it's going to be very, very tough. I know he needs to get a bit of a hide on him because the last 2 jobs he hasn't really done that well, has he? So I think maybe that game, it doesn't need no motivation. It's Wrexham coming to town, but if they don't win that will be a massive bad result for them because they need a confidence booster from somewhere. If they were to beat Wrexham, that would, maybe give them an opportunity to get away from there. But I can't see that. Sorry, Gareth.
Gilbo, your Shrewsbury thoughts?
I think it's going to be a lot tighter than people think. I think, yes, they're 8 points off safety, but as Mick says, if they don't beat us, it's going to be incredibly hard for them to get out of it. So they may just use this as a rallying call and so, right, let's all put everything into this game, and if we can get a positive result, it sets us up for the rest of the season. That on top of the fact that I don't think we'll bring anyone in beforehand, and I do sort of feel that we're just not clicking at the moment. Maybe certainly up front, but what we do have is a great bench. And what we can do is, if we can just keep it tight, even for the first 60 minutes, there's more and more chance that we can win it in the last 30 minutes when we've got fresh legs of similar quality. They're worn down a little bit. We can bring on the likes of Fletcher, who can really use his experience against those against tiring centre halves, and I think we'll eke it either 2-1 or 1-0. So I think there'll only be one goal in it. It'll be nervy, but I do think we're going to win.
Just thinking, guys, in his first game he took over at Shrewsbury, they beat Birmingham 1-0, was it? I think they didn't they? So, they can get them lifted for big games, can't they?
Well, that's the thing with Shrewsbury, yeah, because it was 3-2, they beat Birmingham, because they've had such a bad start to the season, first half of the season, but they've got it in their locker that they can get a result. So it's one to be. We need to be on our toes for it, but I'm going to go with my prediction will be Tim's taking my usual standard 3-0, so I'm going to go with 2-0. I think this time, I think we'll win 2-0. I think it'll be scrappy. I think we'll get one probably around about the 70th minute, and then we'll get one towards the end, and we'll win 2-0, and that will be us. Obviously, of course, we beat them 3-0 back early in the season. What was September? Palmer, Lee, Jack Marriott. Yeah, Jack Marriott. Yeah,
I'd like to see Lee back. I'd actually think Lee back in his midfield berth with Mullin and Palmer up front will be a lot more solid than and a lot more threatening than what we've got. Someone to break the lines from midfield. I think that's where we're really lacking at the moment. Rathbone's great, but really and truly, he doesn't have defenders flocking to him and creating space like Lee would when he's got the ball. So, yeah, let's bring Lee back in for this game, and we'll eke it. Right, love that.
Yeah, let's get this wrapped up. One last little shout out. I did say I was going to do this before Christmas, and it's all on me that I forgot the first time, and then I've not been on the pod for a couple of weeks. But Pied Goffin, who a band who've got a new Wrexham song out, which is just David Rother's Pied Goffin. The song is just called Wrexham, simply titled Wrexham. Been recorded in both Welsh and English. I'll add this to the end of this week's YouTube video for you to check out. For those not aware, David started covering Wrexham for the BBC during the early 80s, commented on Wales home and away, did the PA for the Wales home games for a while, and played a major part in Wrexham, us at the racecourse having bilingual PA announcements. So yeah, that's Pied Goffin. The song is Wrexham. That'll be on after we've done this stuff. But I think before we go, obviously, you have to give the big shout out to our newsletter, to our sponsors, the Fat Ball, Wrexham, Mold, Hill Street Social, My Squin Hall, Carnivore, FAs, the Buck and Banger, the Croyce Howl. But more importantly, a big shout out to Mickey Thomas for coming and joining us. One of Wrexham's greatest ever players, one of Wales's greatest ever players. Mick, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, guys. I've enjoyed it, and hopefully you'll be a bigger success next time I come on. Hopefully you're worldwide, not just around here, but I think America, a lot of people listen in, don't they? Yeah.
Apparently so, yeah. Crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think in America they got laminated pictures of Tim on their walls, but that's all.
Is that right? Tim, you on the wall? Yeah.
I'm not sure about that. I think they've still got Wichita Wings posters of you when you.
A long time ago. That.
So, no. Mickey, are we finishing this campaign first or second?
That's a great question. I'd take second. I'd take anything to get promotion. By the playoffs, it makes no difference. But this is the one I think automatic. I think it's going to be. I think maybe Birmingham might just have that top spot, but I'll take second any day to get promotion.
Oh yes, that'll do me.
So many good bits you can clip up, Tim. He's like a meme machine. Our
meme machine.
Right, well, let's tie this up, boys. I need to eat.
Yeah, me too. This has been First and Devotion. I've been Andrew Pollard, Tim Edwards, Andy Gilpin, and of course the legendary Mickey Thomas. We'll be back next week again. Cheers, Mick, for coming and joining us. It's always a pleasure, mate. And we'll see you soon.
Take care. Thanks
Cheers.
a lot.
Thanks, guys. Thank you, guys.